Hey guys, what is going on? It's Alexander Williamson here with the secret history living inside your aquarium. What is new, guys? I am. You wish it was Canadian football season. Isn't that like every country football season other than America? Soccer, as I think you Canucks call it. So how's everybody doing? Today I want to do a stream that is just laid back, casual. I'm going to start off the stream by showing you guys some new fishies that I got. And then also, I figured that I'd show you the plants and the aquascape that I'm working with, that I'm thinking about for this. But then we're just going to kind of kick off a discussion on generally what you could put in a 20 long aquarium, or what you could put in a 22 88 rimless style aquarium, which is the one I'm going to be working with, or even like a 30 long or a 33 long. Some of the ideas of maybe fish that need a little more room, but they're still kind of like small to nano, but maybe you want to see lots of action, or maybe a pair of dwarf cichlids, or something in that realm. And what I'm kind of leaning towards, and I think we'll probably even hop on the internet together and look at some biotope stuff, like maybe select a river basin and see what fish are in there, and see what's plausible, what's feasible for the tank that I want to put together. I really would love to do a blackwater African biotope from West Africa. And that's one thing on my mind. The other one is a Borneo or Sumatra or Javanese, so one of the islands, maybe Papua New Guinea, but one of those areas, because it has so many beautiful nano fish. And I think one of the coolest things about a 20 long or a 33 long or 30 long, whatever we're talking about, the longer tanks, one of the cool things is, like, whether it's a small rainbow fish or whatever, you can actually keep those, or pseudomagills, or danios that swim real quick, half beaks. You can actually keep them in those tanks. And I'm not so worried about breeding in this tank. I'm probably not, for once, not going to actually worry at all about that. Whereas normally, as I look around, all my tanks have the ability to at least one, if not like 3 or 4 species to be procreating in those tanks. So there's that. The other thing is that if you guys have any questions about any of this, or just other stuff that happens to come up, I'm gonna try, after I show you guys the new aquascape and a tank and the new fish that I've got and the plants, then I'm going to try to, really work with the chat today, because I feel like people have dropped some really good questions lately in the comments, but during the live stream, I haven't been able to give as in-depth of answers. So I want to be able to do that for you guys, if that sounds good with y'all. So who do we got in here, and how's everybody doing? I see multi-stripe crew, Levi's Aquatics, Oddballs. What's up going? What's going on? Or Aquaballs, not Oddballs. Aquaballs, what's going on, George? Jeff Kane, the Yeti, David Rayner, Jimmy P, what's up? With the channel of his own as well. Chris George and Morgan Coyle, welcome. Xanadu, Sandy Schauman. Thank you so much from Florida. Thank you. I'm glad you like the channel. That means a lot to me. Pansy American, what's going on? Luigi is better. Is that what it says? It might be some other alphabet that I don't know. Lady Rorschach, I like that one. Just the live stream I need. Planning a 20 long stocking auctions. All right, looking forward to it. Well, I look forward to talking about it and jumping in on this. Sage P. Lindsay, you tried to send a picture and the email didn't work. AlexanderJWilliamson@gmail.com. I get a lot of emails from a lot of people. It usually works. Did you do all lowercase? Alexander J as in jet, Williamson, no dots, no spaces or anything. Alexander J. Williamson at gmail.com. If you're having trouble there, you can also go to our Facebook group, and there's 1,000 of us or more there hanging out. Also posting pictures, sharing videos, sharing channels, that kind of stuff. Mac Pacific Northwest, yes, the micro tenopoma is something that I would really, really love to get my hands on. If I could get my hands on that, that would settle it. That is, I would have the ornamental or ornatus, yeah, and that's what I would have as my main fish, or like maybe 3 of those, and maybe some fire barbs, or some sort of killifish pair at the top, I think. But I'll show you what I'm planning with this tank. And Cara, what's up? Patricia, hello. J-Man Hatch 17, what's up? William Drulard, thank you so much, Thingamatorium. And thanks for watching. K Day, what's up? How's it going? Thanks for joining us across the pond. Silent Water 81. Oh yeah, still in there. What's up? How's it going, man? How are you doing? And your average fish keeper, what's up? So let's get into. I want to show you guys. Well, I'll show you the new fish I have first. So these guys kind of sparked off part of what I'm interested in doing with the tank that I'm setting up. I saw these, and I just know there are so many freaking options when it comes to Borneo, Sumatra, and this tank already is a blackwater biotope of sorts. It has all they're all those Australasian, from the Malay Peninsula to Papua New Guinea. Other than the orange ember tetras, that's who's in here. So we've got the glow lights that are purple, and then we've got the normal glow lights. But these are the new ones right here. And honestly, I don't know. I don't know their Latin name. I don't even know a common name for them. They were really inexpensive, and they're supposed to only get about 2 inches max. And they're just a really pretty kind of yellow bumblebee looking fish with a little bit of orange and a little bit of blue on the bottom pectoral fins. They are a barb of some sort, but I was talking to the girl who was working at the store, and she said that she's had about a dozen of them in a 29-gallon for a couple years, and that it's been plenty big. So right now they're in a 22-gallon, but they'll probably get moved out of here. There's 6 of them right now, but I really like their look. And I think they're probably in the same grouping that what is it? Punt, punt, Puntaneous or Puntius. Puntius, I think is how you say it. And then there's like a Jacobson, a Jorgensen eye, and then there's an Everett eye. But the Everett eyes look similar, but their stripe doesn't go into their fin, and they also get like up to 5 inches or something crazy. So I don't think it's that one, but it could be the Jacobson eye one. So yeah. Was it verily KC? Hello. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Said you helped me so much. I'm in Tampa Bay, hoping to stock my 15-gallon at work with local nano species. Cool. We'll kick it off when we start talking about the species after I show you guys. Golden barbs, is that what you're calling them? Okay. They were called clown tiger barbs at the store, which was like the worst name ever because they're nothing near to a tiger loach or a tiger barb or a clown loach, obviously. And then this right here, what I've got going on here is I've got substrate just chilling. And these are going to be the first adventurous souls that will go into the new tank as it's cycling, will be these Malawa shrimp. They're really tough, and they're good at cycling stuff. Now, I do have the stomas, 3 of them that are still growing out. I've got the betta machiensis, the miniopinna, and then I've also got the betta rubra. So the other thing is I could do a betta, and of course a bunch of betta splendens. So I could also do kind of an interesting betta tank. And then obviously you guys have seen this tank a good amount. And I've got dwarf cichlids in here that are West African, and I would most certainly probably move them if I do set up the new tank in the African fashion. And if I did that, you know, I I would probably be a little more limited just because of how hard it is to get African small species, small unusual species. But there are so many cool species that do exist that I would love to highlight if I could find, you know, like the wet spot, if they could order some specially in for me or whatever. Maybe go down into Portland and pick them up. The other thing is my little shrimp hatchery. If you can see them all, they're everywhere. They're doing fabulous. So they're growing out good. The betta minnopinas are somewhere in here. There's 3 of them still. And then speaking of local nano fish, right down in here, it'll run as soon as we get close. Right down in there, we've got the lovely and underrated, in my opinion, Elosoma gilberti. They're just a really cool little nano fish, the blue pygmy ghost sunfish. Now, they do definitely like live food, and that is something to consider. They want bloodworms or live meat. They're kind of like little velociraptors in that sense. But you can definitely match them with like golden top minnows or at least killifish. Like a great Florida tank is golden top minnows or fathead minnows or sheep's head minnows, some ghost shrimp that are native to the area, or neocardina, whatever. And then also some lovely little sunfish, either the Everglade eye or the Gilbert eye, the Gulf Coast or the Pygmy Everglades one. One is more dotted and one is more striped. That's the only difference between those 2 species. Look how orange this Malawa shrimp is in the sun. They've been getting a lot of the extreme krill-like stuff, and I think it's making everybody a lot redder in this tank. But basically, I was trying to find something that the Elasomas would pick at, so I didn't have to always feed them live food, because right now they rely completely on the Malawa shrimp. And Malawa shrimp, again, I cannot state how handy they are for cleaning and for in all my mid-size to small fish tanks. They are just like the ideal food source. You just put like 30 in a tank or 20 in a tank, and they'll turn into hundreds within 6 months. And from there, you can throw them in all your tanks. I mean, I have them existing with big fish, you know, they're actually even in this tank with the angelfish and let's see if we can see any of them right now. Yeah, and the haplochromis that's 8 inches long. So they're in there and they're still kicking. They're always cleaning up in here. So there's that. Now, this is the big news. And if Dr. Anthony says, is this a new channel? Seems I know a guy with your name, but he does not come to meetings. Did you not get my text, Dr. Anthony? Yeah, I totally missed a meeting that I initiated with Dr. Anthony, and then I messaged him, but I think it was too late that day. The next day, then I had another meeting, and I was still just out for the count. I literally slept most of the day. So, and then I frantically tried to get into Yelka's good graces again, who was organizing that meeting. But back to stuff that y'all know about. Good to see you, Dr. Anthony. This is the new Aquascape. I put out a new video today talking about how I built this. Right now, I'm going to use botanicals actually to hide the plastic until plants grow in, because there's actual plastic bottles in here that we cut apart, and I made that a video on that. But I actually have a more DIY video if people want to see it. And then here, this is a 1 gallon jug with the top cut off, and it's filled with rocks and gravel. And then the top 2 or 3 inches is aqua soil. And then all this is also rich aqua soil. Some of it's pretty deep, like 4 or 5 inches. And it's a long tank. So really, we're only working with probably 17 gallons of actual water out of the 22, 23 that are in this more Euro style tank, because it's 90 centimeters by 30 by 30. And for now, I have a hang off the back, but eventually I'm going to put a canister on it, I think, and put the canister under here, move the tank under there somewhere else, I think. And then the other thing is I have, other than this 900 SA Twin Star light, which just, it's going to just rip roar through this tank. It is going to, I mean, it's going to cook any plant that's not ready for it. So we're going to do carpeting plants in the front over the sand, which I've never tried over sand. But the thing is, the sand is pretty shallow in most spots, and it's really just for visual effect. Over time, I usually see that the sand mixes anyways, like it is over here on this like ramp that comes up. But then over here, what I want is a plant like something big, like an Amazon sword, or a maybe a bulbitis mounted on some of this wood. I've got one more piece of wood that I can also put in the back. And then I want to have a big piece of that coming out up here, and then maybe a wispy grass planted back in this corner, so that there's like cypress health fry coming up there, and then a carpet here, and then a few crypts in there, and then I'm going to put like a blood red Rotala macrandra as the back wall here, with then a lower scape of something that contrasts pretty brightly, either in texture or color. So there'll be 2 rows, kind of like a Dutch style back there. So that's kind of the upper aquatics. You have a good day at work. So that's kind of the plan with that tank. I know that it's going to end up looking like, I love Bacopa colorata too. It comes up and it looks very nice out of the Aquascape, and it gets this red color when it's got highlight. This is kind of a medium to highlight. This is the higher new light. And then also we've got my substrate that I'm actually cycling. It's got a bunch of bio balls, beads, whatever you want to call them, from an existing hang off the back filter. And then we'll steal that pre-filter sponge, and we'll throw all that on this tank. Plus, we'll probably put some more rocks. I'll probably swap out rocks with something that's got some algae and stuff on it. So that way it'll be all cycled. So really, this tank should be up and running in a few days. I'm going to plant it either tonight or tomorrow, I think. So let me show you also. I always try to make you not as dizzy, point up. The other little news is, if this takes off, like I think it is finally this flowering round. See, this is the same light. I got 2 of these lights basically for the price of one. At retail, it would be, you'd only get 1 of them. So right now I'm just pollinating this thing. There's pollen floating all over the water, and if you dunk the flower in the water, you'll get it pollinated. But you can see here that the bottom is, these are pollinated, and those are fertile seeds right there at the bottom. Now, you can see where some are fertile and growing higher up, but you get less and less since it's a self-fertilizing plant when it's alone. So this is all due to either Q-tip or the water swirling around. And since it sits right at this water level, of course the bottom is self-pollinized. But this is the Aponogeton crispus, and it is just a very cool plant, just blood red and purple and bronze, depending on what part of the plant you're looking at. And I really dig that plant a lot. Now, the other thing that I've got going in this tank right now was one of my heaters went out on me, and freaking died, and it died the good way though. It died a good death. It died by just stopping working. Well, Higer sent me a new one. Literally, they contacted me, and after I did the review of their light, they were like, "Can we send you a couple other things?" So they sent me this heater and a little air pump. And I'm trying out this massive, it's like a 400-watt heater. But what's cool about this heater, I'll do a review on it or whatever, but I don't know what I think of it yet. This water is very hot. I mean, it's really hot. I wish, where's my, I should get my little thermal. I'll get my little temperature gauge because this side is not. Now, I know I should have put it over on the side with the water flow or add, what do you call it? A power head onto this thing, but I'm a dummy, so I didn't do that, and it's only been there for a day and a half or whatever. But in this tank, I was going to show you guys an example of some of the plants that I was thinking of putting in the new tank, and that is this rotala that's hiding down here because it's gotten out competed. But there's that red color that you'll be seeing, that I'm hoping the whole plant will be that purplish red, and maybe we'll do like a mini butterfly in front of it, like a green mini butterfly, or this plant. I always love this plant, Ludwigia exlacustris, or Ludwigia, as some people call it, which and an arcuata narrow. So it looks very similar. The only way to really tell them apart is a little bit of the size, and then also by looking straight down. One spirals slowly, and the other one doesn't. The hybrid Ludwigia exlacustris, when you look at it, it actually spirals, whereas the arcuata narrow is an X. It's, or whatever you want to call it, a cross or an X. Whereas these ones, I think these are the ones. These actually start to turn as they go down when you get the Ludwigia arcuata. So I think I'll plant some of those. Yeah, there's one. But the other cool thing about this heater so far, just playing with it, that I've liked is that, so it's got the sensor thing really long. I mean, you could hide this in a different freaking state, but you can put it on fast heat or slow heat. I don't know why it's still on fast heat. Doesn't need to be. But you can set it really easy with this knob, and then it's also got an eco mode, which slows the heater and basically turns it on and off very slow pulses, whereas instead it usually has a fast heat, which is what all heaters tend to do, honestly, which is just full strength on, and it's just like blasting the heat on. And then when it hits its thermostat mark, it turns off, and then it waits till it cools within whatever the tolerance is, and then it blasts again. So that's a bit of an issue, but okay, so I had that to show you guys. There was another plant that I was going to, oh, Loganondremy buldi. This one, or, oh dear, did I smush it? Please tell me. No, I didn't. Okay, all right. Also, can you hear the heater beeping? It warns you when it's too hot or too cold, or when the top is out of the water, and it has a kill switch. So the circuit is actually completed by water, which is kind of cool. So that way, if you're out of the tank, it can't have a meltdown because the circuit's not completed. But down here, this is the Loganondremy buldi silver, which is my favorite plant of all time for the aquarium. It's just beautiful metallic silver on green. Loganondremy buldi red is also a good one. Hey, what's up, Rasbo? And then, yeah, there's the red one right there. So it's pink or red, depending on the CO2 and the light. And then yet again, here's another immersed Colorado. Actually, this is a Monieri Bacopa. And then we've got Stellatus Dawson's growing right here. Might put some of that in the tank. But I'm thinking colorful stuff. Probably. I was going to do a hill stream. Yeah, see, there's Hygrophila polysperma growing up out too. That one does really well, but it actually loses its pink color out of the water. And then we've got all the Rotala Vietnams and mini butterflies and stuff. This all needs a bunch of trimming, but there's babies in here right now. So I've just let it all grow out because the babies are all hiding, doing their thing. And then this is red Mayaka. The stem is red on it. And then this is Mountain Gross in yellow. But in any case, this is another plant that I like that doesn't get enough love, which is Potamogeton gayi. And it has these cool gold stripes down each individual narrow leaf. And it grows out in this neat pattern of side, 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 almost like corn does. Thought I had one. Oh, and then under a light where it's reaching, this is the same stuff. So you can see it's more green here rather than bronze and red and orange. And it will put out these big long runners when it's in that state. And when it's in low light, it's actually really dense and grows super slow, but it grows. Yeah, here's an example of one that was tucked away. It actually grows like so. So this is Potamogeton gayi. And again, it's just a cool plant that doesn't get used in the hobby much. I mean, it's just a weed, but it's kind of a fun one as far as like the way it grows and everything. Um, so, all right, so that's the rundown. I'm trying to think if I missed anything other than a sip of my soda. But that's the rundown of the new tank and the new plants and stuff. Oh, the new plants I'll show you actually. Those are the old plants. But this tank, again, here it is one more time in case you weren't here. Jenna Snyder, welcome. And Sweet Shot, welcome. So it can be a completely planted tank. I'm thinking carpeted. If the carpet doesn't work, then we'll go with like it could be black water, it could be still water, it could be flooded jungle, but adjacent to a creek, like a hill stream. I love hill stream tanks. The long tanks just beg for hill stream species. I had one in a 40 long that I built as a hill stream, and I just love that thing. Now, I did want to take a look real quick also at the existing 20 longs that I have. One is just a breeder with a bunch of albino paradise garamis in there. And then the other one has some rams and some tricolor or trifasciata apistogramma, not rams, but apistogramma, and a bunch of shrimp yet again, and Malaysian trumpet snails and red root floaters, and it's got the pretty pink little dwarf tiger lily, and the bettas. So it's there's not really many animals in here. There's hardly anything in there. And then we've got this tank, which has a ton of animals. And if I did a West African tank, we could put this little orange chin panchax, or Fundula panchax, Drusii. We could throw him in that tank with the dwarf cichlids, the Enigmatochromis lucanzi, which again they're hiding. But again, the female's in her beautiful metallic colors spawning. She's picked red today. She picks different colors. Sometimes she's blue, sometimes she's red, and sometimes she's purple, her body, and then her upper pin's always a metallic blue. But she's just so pretty. I love that fish. The male is pretty also, but he looks pretty much exactly like a normal crib. And this tank has just grown so much algae over the time that it's been running over a year now. And I keep doing these fake wet and dry seasons over and over without much effect for those cichlids. So I think I need to try them in just a different tank, maybe less other critters going on. But this is where the gouramis are. And if we did a Borneo or a Javanese or Papua New Guinea tank, then we get into all the little gourami species and the threadfins and the Danionids and the Danionellas, all those kind of critters we can put in there, as well as a lot of shrimp. And in here we've got the African tiny, tiny, tiny amber barbs or ember barbs, depending on who you ask of how it's said. And then we've also got the chili rasboras and CPDs, and then scarlet batis. And those are all Southeast Asian, other than the barbs. Oh, and we also have in here the Somfongzi or Trigonostigma Somfongzis, which are the Somfong rasboras. A beautiful fish. I have videos, actually, I have a few videos on them, including breeding them. And they're a really cool fish. They take a while to grow out, but they're a really beautiful fish. All right, so the last thing we'll finish up before we get to questions and just talking is we've got this lovely bag of goodies that I picked up, and boy, there are a lot of snails since the lights were out on the edge of that glass. But there's like 20 or 30 CPDs in there now, which is nice. So we've got this dwarf hairgrass, the smallest size, the mini dwarf hairgrass. And then we've also got some crypts, some red tiger crypts, and then this is the it's not the smallest. It's the Areocalus or Eliocaris acuricularis. Iculatus. Man, it's hard to say for me for some reason today. But this is not quite as small as the other one. This one gets a little more wispy. So this one will be in the back or along the rocks, tucked in between the rocks. Whereas this one will be my carpeting choice all the way up in the front. And then we have some Rotala atra in here that was grown locally. And we also have some Rotala ini in there that's a yellow Rotala ini. And then in here, more atra that they trimmed off a tank that was an Aquascape tank. And then we've got Rotala macronda mini butterfly also. And another red crypt, which is spiralis. And I have a bunch of those already, but my buddy hooked me up. Oh, and I forgot, a third type of hairgrass. So we're going to try carpeting this whole thing with different types of hairgrass. And I want to see how the cloned or tissue culture hairgrass turns out versus the stuff that, I mean, look at the roots on that. They go all the way down the pot. I think this is going to do way better. I think this is going to melt and have some issues, but I've never really tried carpeting straight into sand with hairgrass. And I also might do some stargrass or some chainsword or something like that. So that's the dream. That's the vision. Now let me set up on the computer so I can see all your questions and we can answer some chat questions better for you. So hold on one moment. You guys can stare at these fish for a minute while I do this. Something is smelling fishy in this fish room, unfortunately. It's smelling mildewy. All right. Sorry. All right, is that civil? Can you guys hear me? And now we have access to the computer. All right, is that civil? Can you guys hear me? I also, do I keep lids on my aquariums? No, I do not, because I'm a glutton, and for punishment, I love rotting things. It's not, you know, what the issue is this pillow, the corner of it got wet. And it just smells funky. It needs to go in the washer. Because I've been having to work with that pillow in order to do anything lately. Let me guess. Can you guys hear me okay and everything? We good? Father, can you hear me? That was scary and hopefully not extremely loud. Jeez. Whoa. Testing. 1, 2. Oh. Gosh. All right. We survived. Never forget. So let's get into the chat. Let's get into talking about one more tank. Let's get into talking about ideas for what we would stock, other than the ones I've been babbling about personally. So I haven't seen your questions. I'm not going to lie, for I cannot tell a lie. I haven't seen your questions. So please re-ask your questions. And if it's directed at me specifically, and you don't just want one of the other very intelligent friends in the chat to answer you, please just say at The Secret History Living in Your Aquarium. I know it's a long thing. If you're on a computer, it drops down and you can just select it after you do the first few letters. And then I see it highlighted. Now, if you are a member, your name is in green and it prioritizes your stuff. Like it stays in the chat for, I don't know how much longer, but it's a top chat feature. So it's one more incentive, I guess, to become a member for $1.99 a month to support the channel. But in any case, I will answer your questions gladly without super chats or membership bribes. So Pa Fish Preacher, what's up? Where did you get the truckload of big rocks? Well, I went to the source. I got these baby rocks from a daddy rock, a mountain, and it is a mountain nearby. It's actually a mountain that killed a whole lot of people not too long ago, unfortunately. But this is, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and this is jadeite and jade banded quartz. And it's a bluish stone. Sometimes you'll see when it's real quartzy and crystalline all the way through, it'll be called Ellensburg blue as a precious gem. This is nowhere near that quality, but it's from the same mountain range and deposit, same age of stone, about 350 million years old, that formed the Cascade subduction zone is going under it, and it was uplifted up, and this was what was created. And yeah, it's a blue stone called OSO jade or jadeite. And they were doing blasting on the highway, and this stuff was in slag piles all over the side of the road up in the mountains. And I've gone up there and backpacked into some old abandoned quarries and just grabbed some like loose rock and stuff, literally backpacking like 150 or 200 pounds of rocks out in 1 or 2 trips. But it's a really cool rock. I've talked about it in the past. It breaks really nicely. It grows algae really nicely. It doesn't change your chemistry or any of that. So yeah, you love the mic, huh? Robbie Olson? I know who you are, Robs. This mic made possible by donations of viewer, Rockstar, on Rob's channel. This is another. So check this piece of rock out. See how it looks like a spider or a spiral right here? Whenever this rock gets busted, it has a concaved or convexed cleavage that is ocular. And so you can see it leaves these crazy striations. Let's see here, where it breaks, and they're circular, and it's great for flint knapping. The Native Americans in the area use this stuff all the time for arrowheads and more so for hand scrapers and hand axes. It can keep a real sharp edge. So I actually have to grind it down. Bone rock. Yeah, it's kind of similar to bone rock. And Oso, yes, OSO. And there was a landslide that happened there, and it killed 46 people or something. The whole side of the mountain just fell because of logging practices, actually. Very, very impractical and poor logging practices. All right, let's see here. Do I keep stone loaches? No, I don't keep stone loaches. I don't even know what a stone loach is. I have stone catfish, anchor catfish. Let's see here. You got a secret living somewhere in my, yes. Rock looks like it literally has cleavage, yes. And yes, he's just talking, not taking questions. Hey, I am taking questions. Where did I miss any since I said that I was taking questions? Trade you some granite for jadeite. Hello, I've been trying to breed firetail gudgeons. I identified a pair and put them into separate tanks, but now the male has gone all shy. Should I maybe add more females? Are you feeding it live food? And then have you also looked into when it spawns? There are some fish that only are going to spawn, once a year during their season. So I would check that out. And yes, Christmas pants still. Actually, I put these Christmas pants on last night to make that video. They're my get wet and it's okay pants. Let's see here. What was I going to say? The firetail gudgeon. So I would try separate. Live food for sure is a big thing that gets them in the mood sometimes. And then I don't know if you've looked into how they breed and whatnot, but they might be in the banks of rivers. It might be when the river runs dry, and then like they're in the mud, and then that's the trigger when the rain starts after that. So you may need to like increase the heat quite a bit, up the TDS. I just don't happen to know about that gudgeon, but I would say try to find information on its wild parameters. And this goes for most fish. But then if you can figure out when it breeds, that's great. A lot of times people don't specify that anywhere online. And if that's the case, I would just assume that it's after the rainy season starts returning. That's probably when they do. Let's see here. Thingamatorium and Dr. Maz, yes. Soil in your tank. Do you know if it's toxic to snails? Well, it has ammonia and nitrogen and nitrites because it's Amazonia ADA soil, and it has to burn it off. And so that's why you plant those high-tech, high-end tanks, and you run CO2 so that the plants can use that stuff and burn through it, churn through it. And then the plants will look incredible after that first month. Then you'll get slammed with a round of algae that just looks like, oh no, I've lost everything. Then I have a whole video on how to treat that first round of algae. And then after that, it equalizes. And because of that ammonia, the nitrites, the nitrates that are in there, and that I've kind of capped them off with sand, it should then, once everything's planted, if it's a well-planted tank, it should stay good and very balanced pretty much on its own. Even with the filter dyed,
as long as the light is intense and it has CO2 and fertilizers. Liquid fertilizers are great too, but I've bottom loaded that thing with minerals and fertilizers and stuff like that. So there's that. Let's see here. Do you keep any Endler fishes? Yeah, I have some tiger Endlers back up with the paradise fish. I have some Silverado and black bars mixes in the other room in that tank that was super saturated with plants. And then I also have the Jinga sulpharis, which are guppies, but they have an Endler hybrid in them. And I also have some, what are the other Endlers I have? Oh, tuxedo Endlers of some sort, like an orange tuxedo Endler. I don't remember their exact name. Whether it will be an African or a Borneo biotope, you know, it's going to depend probably in the end on what fish I can get my hands on. But let's talk about that. Might want to set the focus of your mic to a narrow field. Oh, you just so the water trickle in the background is dulled. It's not bad, just there. Yeah, that's it. Okay, yeah, totally. I will play with that when I have any info on it, because in StreamYard or on YouTube, it doesn't give you any info other than just volume, really. And I've already got like noise cancellation and all the like AI stuff turned on. But thank you for letting me know that the water's still super loud. Wonder what happens if I do this. Is this walling off the angle it's coming from? Wonder if that helped at all. Borneo loaches are really cool. The blue tail spotted Borneo hillstream loach, those are really neat. And I have one of them right now up in the tank that was another 20 long. The thing I'm also tempted by, though, is some sort of small rainbow fish. There are a lot of rainbow fish that aren't that popular in the hobby, but only get like maybe 3 inches, and a 22 or 90 centimeter, which is 3 foot long tank, is plenty big for them to do laps, and then they can turn around. They don't have a whole lot of room to go other ways, but they can do their laps. And if you add a power head, they'll usually come around and swim into it for a few hours a day, and then when they get tired, they duck out of it. And Danios can often do that too, but there are slow water Danios and there are fast water Danios. So like a zebra Danio or a Pangensis Danio or a pearl Danio, leopard spotted or Frankii Danio, all those are going to, and Kythit Danios, they all enjoy some flow, some water flow. But I don't consider those necessarily the best fit for like a 20 long. You can do it. You can even keep them in a 10, but they're so hyper and they move so much that they just are obnoxious to the other fish. If you want a really active tank, zebra Danios are great, but I mean, they can easily be in a 40 breeder and still just cruise back and forth within about less than 2 seconds from one side to the other. And they will do that and chase each other and harass each other. Now, if you've got like erythromicrons, Danionellas, Shanensis Danios, Chopra Danios, those ones are more still water or flooded water Danios, CPDs and erythromicrons too. And they will chill a little bit more. They will usually chill. Now the Chopras can still kind of get zoomy and hyper and stuff sometimes, but usually they're pretty chill. Okay. Hi, I have a tank with some bottom feeders, and I wanted to know how much bottom residue, mulm, wait, how much bottom residue? Don't remember the name you gave in a video of the blue lip angry boy. Yeah. And if it's good to have with the bottom feeders. So the bottom feeders generally, unless they're shrimp or snails, they're not going to actually eat mulm at the bottom. Fish anyways. Like catfish, some types like Loricariidae species, some will sift through that and look for food that is in there that fell to the bottom and is in the rocks. And that's when you see, like, when people aren't feeding their Corydoras properly, then the Corydoras get in their nose in the rocks and they obsessively dig for the little last piece of flake. And that's when they hurt their barbels on stone. If you have soft substrate or if you just feed them properly, they don't do that. If you get tabs, like wafer tabs, that's the best way to feed bottom feeders or sinking pellets. And just let it be. The whole rule of your fish should eat everything within 2 minutes doesn't really apply to a lot of plecos and other, Corydoras and things. Some of them will swim in and just devour whatever you put in there. But for the most part, they actually are a little shy, and a lot of them are nocturnal, and most people are probably feeding in the day or in the early nighttime, which is not the best time. So there's that. I keep rainbow loaches, which are in the stone loach family. Okay, cool. I'll have to check them out. Can rainbow fish live in black water? Rainbow fish can, some, definitely, but a lot of them like more neutral water with a low TDS and a high oxygen generally. But there are some swampy ones that definitely can live in black water. But the other quirky thing about their black water oftentimes is some of it, like the Papua New Guinea stuff, a lot of it actually either has coral or limestone in the surrounding waters or streams, like, and like the Aru Islands and things like that. And that causes the TDS to go high and the dissolved solids to go high. And there's a buffer, but the water still may be pretty neutral because of all the dead leaves and stuff that are making acid that's then eating up the buffers. So it's kind of like a constant up and down, and it changes with the seasons there. But that's kind of a dangerous game to play unless you really know the species and the fish. And in that case, sometimes it triggers them. All right, Upper Aquatics, member for 9 months. Thank you so much. What kind of dirt would you recommend to do a dirted tank? Specifically, what brand? Thanks for the great content for the algorithm. Woo, woo. Okay, so for the dirt, I think that the organic stuff is usually best. Obviously, it just has less of the potential for intense like phosphates or stuff that is fine in the soil outside, but when you soak it in water and it's saturated for weeks, the levels are too high for either fish or plants. It just doesn't work out well if it gets too intense. And so if I recall, there's like black rose soil. You don't want the compost or manure or anything with the dissolved solids in it, like waste products. Really don't want that. So you want a soil that is mulchy, but really you don't need the extreme intensity that is needed or that is used in a lot of soils and like potting soils and things like that. So I would just get as plain of dirt that's not supercharged with anything. It's organic, doesn't have, but I think it's called black rose, if I recall. Maybe you could use, you want soil/dirt. You don't want the other names and mixes of things. Miracle Grow organic. Oh yeah, Average Fish Keeper says that too. Miracle Grow organic says I've used it. Yeah, I mean the main thing is really either to cap it well with sand or silty stuff and do a good layer of that, and then just test. Make sure for like a week that it's not going to sneak up, because all it takes to spike it up and kill everyone with ammonia in a planted tank is something breaking that cap and digging in. So you definitely don't want to put like cichlids or catfish that are types that dig because of that. Oh yeah. Also, by the way, the Amazon Research Center for Ornamental Fish, if you guys want to go to the Amazon, the Peruvian Amazon, you can get a ticket for 2 and a whole week in an air-conditioned, modern, super nice place from their website. Now, it's on my Facebook. I've posted about it in the last few live streams I've done, but we can also pin a comment right now with the website. If Dr. Anthony, hold on. Dr. Anthony, I'm going to make you a moderator, so you better be good. But now Dr. Anthony can write the website. And if you guys are interested in, for $50, which goes to research of sustainable ecology, aquaculture, teaching indigenous people in Peru how to raise fish in the off season, so that there isn't just like tanks of, you know, wholesalers holding on to stuff, or they aren't out of work for a few months or half the year or whatnot. It's basically a trip to the Amazon. And if you've got your import papers in line and everything, you can also, you know, bring the fish home, collect them and bring them home, as long as all that's in line. And you get to stay at the dorm, check out their research center, and all sorts of other stuff that's in that city of Iquitos in Peru. I mean, for $50, I mean, I bought a ticket already. When I get more money, I plan on buying more tickets. I'm excited, and it's for 2 people. So it's pretty cool. It's running through the rest of this month, and it's at the link that is right here. I'll pin it in the chat. Why is it? So there's the big long, I don't know why it gave such a long link there, but hold on. Let me, what? Come on, behave, chat. Why won't it let me pin? Why won't you pin? Oh, well, that's annoying. Why isn't it letting me? Hey, Dr. Anthony, can you write something other than just the link and try one more time? Because it's not letting me select it. I think it's because it's a link. And it popped up as this crazy long thing on the StreamYard, I'm assuming is why it's going all wonky. So if you could say like raffle and then type your website, that would be awesome. And then I'll pin that in the comments. So pair of Kamaka rainbows. Those are really nice. Yeah. Sorry, ran out of letters 2 hours after spray painting the endlers. Were acting strange. A couple died that evening. Could paint fumes kill fish? Yes, it can. More than likely, it's not the fumes per se. It's the particulate matter that lands on the tank surface, and then that becomes part of the, you know, gets into the water. But it definitely, paint fumes, turpentine, Windex, ammonia, the fumes can, in theory, do that. Also, it sounds like Dr. Anthony is saying that 2 weeks is possible if you want to stay longer than the 1 week. I'm sure you just have to work that out with them and maybe cover the difference or whatnot. But he's got a great center down there, and it's really cool. His wife and I are also working on an educational cartoon or children's book educational tool, I'll call it, of a little girl named Nalda that is like kind of like an Elmo or a Dora the Explorer, kind of like, you know, Sesame Street or educational TV, Magic School Bus, whatever. But in person, like a puppet and a teachable in-class visitor that will come and say like, don't pollute the river. And it's tied into some of their ethnography and like their cultural stories and why the river needs to be protected and all this stuff. So it's pretty cool. The work they're doing there is awesome. There we go. Never mind. I pinned it. I finally got it. So yeah, it's pinned. If you want to enter that, it's $50. Obviously, it goes to a good cause, anyways, and it's $50 per raffle ticket. I bought one already, and it's running the rest of the month. Bring whoever you like. So back to the 20 longs. You know, I thought for a minute that maybe I would do Shelley's. You know, some Neolampologus or something. And hold on, let me pull up something for y'all. The Google. Robert Google. EO Lamper. Logus multifasciatus. I love these little guys. They're another great one for a 20 long or a 30 long. Let me share the screen on this. So these guys are super cute and they live in shells. So you literally need to get like old escargot shells or something and a bunch of them. And then you just throw them all over a sandy, rocky tank. And these guys hide in them their whole lives pretty much. They'll come out just to eat and to dig and to rearrange their little lives. But then they go back in there. And they can live in a small space. So they're actually really good. I've seen them work out with about 5 or 6 of them as long as you have somewhere to offload the babies. I've seen people do that in a 10-gallon even. So a 20 long really gives them some room, and you can have like Similis or multifasciatus or some of the other color morphs of them and species of them that are a little more colorful or just larger, just different finnage like these. Here's a little rundown of some examples of the different types, but they're all African. It is pretty small for them, Lewis, but I've seen it done, especially with like 4 or 5. But in a 30-gallon tank, I mean, that's fine. That's plenty of room. 40 gallons ideal, but I've seen them in 50 shallows. They really don't need much room depth-wise. And so, honestly, it's all about the surface area at the bottom. And Stiphodons, come to mention it, Luigi is better. And also, by the way, Curtis, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate that, buddy. That's very kind of you. Curtis from St. Martin. Thanks. I hope it's going well down there, and I hope your plants are doing great and everything. No hurricanes. The off season for the hurricanes. Great to see you here, by the way, too, buddy. So yeah, Celebus, or I feel like I'm not saying that right. Celebs. That's right. Why did I say Celebus? Thinking of syllabus. The celebs, rainbow fish are another one, or half beaks, celebes, rainbow is another kind of cool one that you guys can see here. All these kinds of blue eye, killifish, pseudomcgills, whatever they are great candidates for these long tanks, honestly. This is a furcata. This isn't the right fish. But, I mean, so we'll look at this one. I mean, you can see the finnage. When the males are sparring, it's incredible. So there's that fish that's an excellent tank inhabitant. Now, the thing is, rainbow fish and killifish hang out near the top. So Pseudomagil luminatus or signifer or pascae. Like here is Pseudomagil luminatus. This is the one I have in the tank next up there. Some are very different depending on collection points. There are like RU2s, RU4s, Papua New Guineans. So there's a lot of different collection points with rainbow fish, but I mean they are just a very cool fish that shows off. So if you were to do this, the real question then is like, what would you want to add as your next fish for the bottom or for the midwater? And they can be a teeny bit territorial. They're pretty peaceful, but they also spawn regularly too. And they're usually you can get good money for them, which is nice. But if you do those, I would look into getting a Borneo stream loach, which looks like these guys right here, or even a butterfly or reticulated hill stream loach. This is more of a reticulated one here, but the Borneo loach is one I think cool looking. The striped Borneo loach, the Gastromyzon zebrinus, and they've got a cool pattern on their body and the big fin lobes that come out. And they almost look like a skate or a ray. And then they have a blue tail, which most people, you have to get them in really good quality water to really see that nuance of the blue tail and stuff. But mine will do it pretty frequently. When I do the water change, it'll get the blue tail, which is just really cool. Now, this is the like Borneo hill stream, not spotted, but hill stream or reticulated or butterfly loach. They're good and they're fine too. Yeah. You're looking for the stone catfish, the anchor catfish. They're so tiny. And to me, it's almost hard to keep track of them. So I would say if you get a stone catfish, oh, I didn't say catfish. I said that I would recommend perhaps having like sand that's white so you can see them. They're still going to bury themselves, but at least then you stand a chance of seeing them sometimes. Now, they're very similar to like a banjo catfish, but very small. I mean, we're talking like this is full grown. I have a few of these in the other room, and they are so small. I mean, they do look like a little anchor. Like if you held them by their tail, they'd look like a little anchor. But they are very, very teeny. Now, while I'm passing this reminds me, for those tanks, any Cory other than maybe the brooches type would probably work out pretty well in a 20 long or a 22 or a 30 or 33, any of those, tanks. But if we're talking about like a 15 or a 20 and you're kind of thinking of those, I would always recommend the pygmy variety of Cory catfish. They're real cute, and they'll swim up in the higher water as well. Then you've also got, other than the pygmy, which are Corydoras pygmaeus, You've also got the salt and pepper, or rather the habrosis. So the habrosis, these guys, and these are the dwarf. So rather than pygmy, they're dwarf. This just demonetized my stream for the night. When you say the word dwarf, they think you're making fun of a certain group of people, apparently. But in any case, so, and then there's also Histatus. Histatus. Spell that wrong? Yes. Histatus. Still I'm spelling it wrong, I'm sure. It's an A. It's an A. Corey. I'm having all sorts of trouble typing today. Corey Doris Histatus. Oh, I don't know why it didn't come up the first time. But then we got these little guys, which are, they look like little mice, and they got a black dot on their tail. They're real similar to reed tetras or crystal or diamond tetras sometimes. They'll school with the reed tetras, and they're obviously South American. They're not African or anything, but really cool fish. And really fun. You want a decent group of them, even in a small tank, even in like a 5-gallon tank. I've had as many as like 3 or 4 of these guys, and they do just fine. They do want a little more room to move, so I've never kept them in there much longer than growing out a little bit when I had extras that just had babies kind of accidentally spilled out kind of thing. Sandy says, I did a 50% water change and washed the floating plants and filter. Should I start completely over? I'm afraid to put another fish in the wait. I did a 50% water change and washed the floating plants and filter. I don't see what the issue is. I'm afraid to try to put another fish in the tank. As long as you didn't like restart the filter, you should be fine. You can wring out a sponge filter. The plants now. I mean, I would do a nitrite, ammonia, KH, GH, whatever it is. I'd do a test on it and make sure that they're hanging in there. All the specs are looking good, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't stress it. Yeah. Unless I'm missing something here. Let's see here. Oh, Lewis, good question. Would they be fine with the Ilocaris dwarf hairgrass plant that I plan to carpet with? No. Quarries will dig up every stinking every tissue culture plant that you put in your tank. They will dig up. They just do that. They just nuzzle under it to try to get food and to see what's under it, and that's about it. But yeah, they're a handful that way. So I probably wouldn't start it with them anyways, at least. They might leave it alone once it's firmly anchored. I have about 10 generations of hill streams in my tank. There are at least 60 of them. Wow. Curtis, that's so cool. That is really cool. That's impressive, man. I hear they're really hard to spawn. So you got the magic touch. Samuel Joseph says, what about U.S. native biotope? Cologaster, cornuta, and one of the Elosoma species maybe some native killies. They can all take some decent flow. You know, I was thinking about doing, like a sheep's head minnow and a blue sailfin or bluefin killie, with then some maybe even green darters or rainbow darters. By the way, if you guys haven't ever seen the native, let me finish up this thought while I came to this page. But some of the Borneo rasboras, like the Sarawakensis and the Lacrimula, are really cool looking. They just have this really neat energy, kind of like iridophores is what it is. It's little guarine and guanine crystals underneath their skin that make prisms, just like the old ones you'd hang on like a sliding glass door that makes the dark side of the moon like little rainbow. And they're, you know, this is something like that I would be thinking about. The other thing that I really love and I haven't ever kept are, let's pull these up, filament barbs. They're just incredibly gorgeous when you see them in the right light, like a natural light. They do get pretty good size, as you can see here. They do get big. So they wouldn't be for this tank, but I'm just saying in my head that that's something that I would love to have one day. They're really beautiful. Samuel, so yeah, the US Biotope, you could do, I've got a video called 10 Colorful Native Nano Fish of North America, and I go over some of the options there, but like with elastomas, so elastomas really are dwarf sunfish, and they look like the one is a male, and it will look like this beautiful. Let me get the let me get the shared screen back. Oh, you guys can't even see. Hold on. Share screen and go. Hey guys, if we could get a like, I would like that. I'd appreciate it because we're slacking on the likes. Another one bites dust, slacking on your fishing. We all want to buy the dust, slacking on your fishing, baby. Turn it up. Got another like. So I got a Ferrari, a Jaguar, switching 4 lanes, top down, money back, screaming out, money ain't a thing. Elosoma Gilbert eye versus the Everglade eye. There's the Okefenokee one. So, I mean, these are really fun. I have some of these. Mine have never been real prolific in breeding. It's my dummy fault, I'm sure, because other friends just have crazy good luck with the same water nearby. They do kind of need live food, and they don't want hot water. So they'll do fine in like 70, 75 degree water, but you don't want it to get, 80, 85. You definitely want to keep them in the like 70 range, more ideally 60 to 75. They can take all the way down to like the 40s for a little while, or if it's slow and gradual. But with those elastomas, you can also do like a bluefin killie, or you could do the marsh killies. The bluefin killies are the Luciana Goody eye, very beautiful fish. Comes in a few different like color morphs or color varieties, but it's really a pretty neat fish. These are found now in California, which is kind of interesting. The other thing, if I did an African tank, I could go with like a bluefin Notho Brachius, the Rachovi eye, or like the blue Galaris, or something like that. There are so many different versions of these colorful African killies. So that's an option for that tank. But I kind of feel like killies might be too solitary. I don't know how their temperament is. Let's see here. So notice Chance Larson says, do you notice, and hello Kenneth Young, by the way, do you notice a big difference between the Habrosus and the pygmy cories? I heard the Habrosus might be less timid. Habrosus are pretty outgoing. The key to all of them is having enough of them. If you have like 6 or more of them, any of those species will come out more. The Histatus will swim middle water more than the Habrosus or the Pygmaeus. The Pygmaeus is pretty outgoing too. I mean, they're just pretty much like most cories. Good to see you, Jason. Also, Rob Olson, when will we get Discord? Never. I don't know. It's one more thing I'd have to do. And I'm busy researching and, well, right now resting and collapsing in between overdoing it. Because I'm also, the cat's out of the bag, I guess, in that I've been working for Aquatic Arts, well, a new company that the owner of Aquatic Arts started. And I've never like worked for them, but I'm working doing graphic design and like web work, marketing, optimization, branding stuff, and graphic design, creative direction, and UX all mixed together. And between that and another gig that I have, I've been working at night. So like from when my wife goes to bed around 11, I'm usually up till 4 or 5 doing work. I don't know why, I just work better at that time. And then I collapse and crash in the day. And then if I, for some reason, have to go out to an appointment or go do something and don't get that time to my sleep time essentially now, lately I've just been real exhausted after recovering from the surgery, but I just need to do I need to listen to my body. I'm not overdoing it by lifting too much, but I am still not resting enough, I think, is the bottom line. And so I need to start doing that. I'm just really antsy to get physical again because I feel so fat and sedentary since my back problems and the whole lockdown and all that stuff. It didn't help either. What are darters? Great question. If you don't know what a darter is, yeah, welcome to the mind-blowing world of this lives in America and hardly anybody keeps them. There are hundreds of darters, probably. I don't know how many there are. There's definitely over 100. There's probably like 150 known species, if not more. From Johnny darter to greenside darter to orange face and purple cheek to Virginia orange, banded darter. Look at these fish. They are very cool, and they're usually about the size of a peacock gudgeon up to the size of maybe an algae eater-ish size-ish. But the peacock or rainbow ones are just incredible. Dashing darters. Tennessee. Look at this. Look at this one right here. Like, ooh wee. The candy cane darter, and man, there are some cool ones. Cool darters. So yeah, these are in rivers around the U.S. and just mostly east of the Mississippi, but they're a cold water fish, and they would love a tank setup with some rocks at the bottom or sand at the bottom and a little bit of flow. They're really a cool fish, really neat one. Mark Gilmetti says, Sandy has posted a bit ago mentioning they spray painted the back of their fish tank and lost fish. Yes, you can do that, but I was saying that if you spray paint around your tanks, you can kill your fish. the fumes can be bad. Now, I think you'd have to be painting for quite a while, but I know that it's enough of a problem that I've been told multiple times by professors not to do so. In my experience, Chinese hillstream loaches are quite aggressive to quarry cats and other bottom dwellers. Yeah, they are. I mean, some of the hillstream loaches. Also, you know, another cool fish for a 20-gallon that's a long 20-gallon, or a 30-gallon that's a long 30-gallon, would be the Panda. Well, Panda loaches are awesome for any size tank, all the way from 5-gallon up to whatever, 1,000 gallons. They are my favorite fish in the hobby, probably, when you have about 12 to 15 of them and they're swimming all over. They're just so stinking cute. Panda loach, RIP. I had a colony of them for 4 years. They just started dying over time. I think they just died of old age. And I only got 3 or 4 to spawn, and never got like a whole group. It was all just sporadic, like, oh, there's a baby now. And in fact, there's one of my videos. Cute and the controversial panda loaches. Yeah, they're only in one river system, and one of them's in a national park, so they shouldn't really be getting collected in that area, yet they still are. But they are stinking cute as a bug. And some of them in one of the rivers turn like this. They get all speckled. And they only get about 1.5 inches long. When they're babies, they can be as small as like 1/4 inch to 1/3 of an inch in size, which is crazy. I mean, they're very teeny, but they're a really fun fish. But like was said earlier, some of the other loaches, like butterfly loaches. Also, the Panda loach, which is this one, is great. But the Panda gara, here we go. Panda gara, or rainbow gara, or gara flavata. These guys can be really fun too, but the males can get really aggressive. Now, they may never spar once in their lives, or they may spar constantly for a week until they figure out dominance, and then they won't fight again until somebody decides that they're going to try and make a run for dominance again. But you can see the colors really vary in those fins, and they're just really neat. A really cool fish. So be aware, but I've done videos on them, and you can check that out. Alex, sorry, I'm talking about spray paint fumes that killed my 4 endlers. That's why I did a. Do you think that's enough? Oh, the 50% water changes for the end. Yeah, that's probably enough water change. I mean, I put the dechlorinator in there, and if you can, honestly, get a little. Just get a bucket even and get new water, completely new water. Don't even need to be cycled or anything. And put them in that, like put them in like a 5-gallon bucket, or, you know, fill it with 4 gallons, and just put them in the other room in the house. If your house is over 74 degrees, then you don't need to put a heater in. But if it's in the high 60s, put a heater in it. Just so the water is somewhere between about 72 and 80 degrees. And then don't even worry about a filter or anything for a few days, but let that tank filter. Put a charcoal filtration pad in the filtration box if you have a box filtration. If it's a sponge, just let it run for a while. But my guess is after 50% water change, wait a day, do another 50%, wait another day. By the 3rd day, it should be more than safe, I would guess. Thanks for clarifying. Son of Quack, set up a dirted tank. The plants are good. Problem, setup looks weird. The valves in the front. Want to drain and add Epsom salt and replant. Any tips? You know, I don't have any major tips other than you can use a siphon without a bulb chamber, so you're not pumping it and getting that, like the sand is actually going through, and you can have the sand go all the way to the bucket, and then you've got a substrate with and water filled bucket, and then you can reallocate that, but it's all going to be mixed up, probably the sand and the substrate and the rock or whatever combo you're using. But I would say that maybe watch my how to change out the substrate of an already established tank video, and that's probably the only thing I can say that would help much. Sorry to hear that, though. That is frustrating. Let's see here. Sandy Schumann, thank you so much, or Schauman, for the $3.99 super chat. I really appreciate that. You rock. Who rocks? You rocks. I have 2 tanks of Hebrosis, 4 with my beta in 10 and 8 with my Von Rio tetras in a 20 long. Cool. Sonny Gordon, wow, thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. It will be going towards medical bills and or buying a ticket to Dr. Anthony's giveaway, another ticket. So I appreciate it. And maybe some fish for this new tank. I haven't really figured out where I'm going to get the money for the fish for this new tank yet. So darters are American gobies, I guess. Yeah, there's still gobies in America too. And there are stonefish, and there are, you know, rockfish or stonefish. And yeah, there's gobies too. But yeah, they're pretty similar. Yeah, emerald quarries are probably the most popular in the hobby if you count the albino variety. Most of the albino ones you see are those, and they're very popular. They're very cool. Now, another thing that you could do in a 20 long is crebensis. I've bred crebensis in a 20 long so many times. They are going to get territorial, so don't put any other mid-sized fish. You can put little fish like tetras or rasboras in there. The cribs may take a bite at them, but usually they won't. But naturally, this is like the Pelvicochromis pulcher. And then there's other kinds like Pelvicochromis giganteatus, or, you know, there's the Nigerian red belly crib. And then there's Maliwe, Lacunja, Bupindi, all these collection points and different style ones. Another cool fish is the Nanochromis species. There's the Transvestatus. There's the red ones. There are, yeah, here's the Pelvicochromis tinniatus Maliwe. And man, look at that. Isn't that a beautiful fish? Versus your kind of classical in the trade. There's the female. And albino cribs look pretty cool too, I think. The giant cribs, red versions. I mean, they've come in so many different varieties now. It's pretty amazing. Pretty cool. So, I am probably going to get out of here, you guys. I'm probably going to wrap it up, pack it in, let me end. And I want to thank you guys for hanging out and chatting with me and talking about what I'm going to do with this tank right here. And can we get a what with this tank over here? And yeah, I'm open for suggestions. Replay crew too. Let me know what you think. Also, super chatters, thank you so much. Members of my channel, thank you so much. Hey Jason, I see you're a member. I really appreciate that. I guess for some reason I didn't notice that before, but thank you, man. Oh, well, isn't that fancy? Dr. Anthony has Nanochromis, 3 types of Dario from the wet spot this week. Well, man, that's the other thing that I'd love to have in this tank. If I could get a bunch of Batis in there, if I can find them, I will do that. If I can find Panda loaches, I will do that. Wow, Degenerate Fish Keeper, you've been here for 8 months now, man. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that, Jason. I love Jason and Shanna's channel over on 503 Aquatics. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern, 10 a.m. Eastern, I guess. And it is a Name That Tune, animal trivia, inappropriate jokes. It's just great. Yeah. Maybe I will do another Nanochromis and use that as a West African species for the tank. And then I need to find some small, like inch-long tetras or barbs from Africa that I like, though. And I just don't know what's out there that much. So I like that's available, I should say. I'll have to look through their website and see what else they have. Because I am leaning more towards doing like a Sundadanio, Axelrod. You also have a channel. That is true. You have a channel where you highlight your being a co-host. And I heard that you also are a co-parent in that you have a spouse, but you're the one who is in the supporting role. Is that correct, Jason? Are you happy now? Have I given you enough credit? You're also the co-host of a viewer. You're a co-viewer to this show. So you're just the co-everything. You're the co-pilot. I will let you take the wheel. No, but I look forward to your morning on 503 Aquatics channel. I look forward to Jason's musicking, discoing, usually selecting Nickelback and music that everybody knows and loves, abilities, and then we guess it like Shazam or Name That Tune or whatever the kids are doing these days. But no, it's a good time. So check out Jason's stream, Degenerate Fish Keeper, and Shanna's. Also, Curtis, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who appreciates me. We're all a big ball of appreciation. And yet again, man, my heart goes out to all of you guys in Ukraine. I know there's 50 or 60 of you who watch the videos. And I truly am thinking about how terrifying and helpless it must feel being in the midst of a war. So heavy. Please take care of yourselves, and thank you. Lean on the people around you that you love. Everyone else, at least we're not in a war zone, or at least you're probably not. I hope that everybody had an okay night tonight. I got to get out of here. I got to scram, toodaloo, and I will talk to you guys. L8R. Talk to you later. All right, guys, take care of the people around you, your fish, your plants, your water parameters, your cousin's second sister's step husband's dog, and most importantly, take care of yourself, or you can't take care of everybody else. I will talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, replay crew. Thank you, everybody other than Dr. Anthony, who is just a mean Grinch of a troll. No, check out his raffle, his Ponzi scheme, so that he can build himself a Heart of Darkness style jungle fort surrounded by pacus and arapimas and stuff in the middle of the Peruvian Amazon. I want to see it happen, and I want to see Charlie Sheen go in and on a PT boat and go up against Dr. Kurtz. Dr. Anthony. All right, guys, have a wonderful night. I will talk to you later. And yeah, check out the trip to the Amazon Research Center for ornamental fish. Only $50 for a raffle ticket, and it supports a super good cause. I'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. Oh, actually, I won't. I'll talk to you guys on Monday. Tuesday, I've got an appointment with Eric Bodrock, Oddball Aquatics, is talking to our club when I would be talking to y'all. So Bentley Pasco and I will both be MIA. But thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Replay crew. Yeah. If you made it this far, much respect. And I will talk to all of you on Monday at around 4 o'clock Western and 7 Eastern. Take care. God bless and God night. Good night. Bye.